Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1 Championship. LSI Saturday. Oh wow, I just messed it completely up. Hello everyone and welcome to the Friday Tier Championship. Welcome to LSI, welcome to the Dutch Grand Prix, welcome to round 4 in Zandvoort, and welcome to a dry race. Samaxon currently on top in this dry session. The dry race will come around a little bit later on at the end. Of course, Jericho Willis P2, 9.0. Then we've got Niffer 3, Devon, Zingy, Sulkin. We've got Terence, Vegaflix, and Inkling. 2 new drivers on the grid to join us today. We've got Vegaflix, of course, returning for their second race in LSI, their second weekend in LSI. That's almost 3/10 improvement from Niffo to 9.125. So very close to the back of Jericho Willis. Currently, 4 tenths in front, so Maxon a nice advantage. And that is moving up the way of a few other cars. We've got Devon Young going into the pit lane. It is Jericho Willis on an outlap right here. So is Terence. Terence will begin their lap shortly. 9 drivers on the grid. We do have 20 drivers signed up to race, but as it's the summer season, expected to have varying numbers, of course, throughout, but it's looking good in the F124 game. Regardless, Jericho Willis will allow Niffer to go through. Just about a bit of a miscommunication there, but they do eventually get that sorted, and then they're good to go. Terence up the hill as they go through turn 4. Through the S section, if you like, continuing up the hill, and then down we go. 7th gear, hold it, now down to 6th. They're staying in 7th, a little bit late there into 6th, but still pretty good. Some brand new equipment this weekend is Terence. Racing nicely. They're going to have a pretty good feel for that wheel. They're definitely going to have to spend some time learning it, but they'll improve massively, I'm sure. Into the braking zone they'll go. Running nicely. Oh, a little bit of oversteer on the exit there as they've got some battery to use, that's for sure. And on the exit, DRS open, up to the line. What's it going to be here for Terence? Oh, they back off. It's Jericho Willis, who also backed off their lap. And that is a dramatic end to some mid-session quali laps as we're about to get the final runs already. We've got Selkin P6 at the moment in the Sauber. We've got Vegaflex, and then we've got Inkling, who are all out on track right now. Zingy also one. Come out as well and see what they can do. An 8.7 continues to be the fastest lap. So Max on set 2 laps so far. Earlier setting the pace, improving on it just before we started the stream. And now they're going to look to fight 10. Looking into the first corner. Lovely rotation through turn 1. Then 3 and 4. Tiring from the session on the track is Vega. Not ideal at all. Luckily they didn't really get affected too badly, but I do wonder if there was Jericho Willis having an issue there. I'm not entirely sure. Goes back with the Sauber here. They come through the right hand up. They can kind of get to the outside, back on the throttle on exit. 4th gear, keeping that traction in check. DRS open, and then they continue for the rest of the lap. Devon Young, who's about to start their lap just in front. And we will see, of course, pretty much the entire grid pass through. It's a very short lap here. Whether Samaxon is going, so they've gone very late to try and maximise the track evolution, whereas others have left a bit more on the table. Stuckling go across the line, and it's going to be a 2.5 tenth improvement. They stay P6. They catch up to Zingy, but Zingy is going to be looking to try and improve in just a few moments' time. And that's the Williams, unfortunately. Inkling having a big issue as they spin. No one will be impeded by that one. Just a mistake. That's Zingy onto the grass. I do not believe it. What a weird mistake to see. P4 it will be for Zingy, and they may have had a look at Nifo, but they didn't in the end. And that is that one done. Nifo on an out lap currently. Not ideal from Zingy there. And not ideal for Devon, who's done their lap, and they're just allowing a few cars to go through. Just double checking that it isn't on a lap. They allow them to pass and then they do rejoin. Which is frustrating, but that's an interesting way to end qualifying. Terrence currently on a lap, it looks like. What can they do with this car? We're going to see a few cars come across the line. It's going to be some Maxon just getting ready to start. We've got Sacklin already set a lap. Devon Young just ahead, so it is Terrence up next, followed by Jericho Willis. Although Jericho is on an old set of soft tyres. Here we go, though, with the driver from Hong Kong. DRS and up to the line. P7 for them now. Just a couple tenths away from Sacklin. What can they do? Oh, and they will not get there in the end. They gave it their best shot. It's Jericho Willis who will not improve either. They'll stay. Well, they actually, no, they did improve, sorry. So a brilliant last rush there for them. And it's going to be Nifo, P3, Home Grand Prix. Right now, can they find a way to get ahead of Jericho Willis and start in the front row once again, also dipping a wheel on the grass across the line? What's it going to be? It's going to be P2 and 8.932. Absolutely brilliant margins right there. Zingy into the pit lane and qualifying is done, but we still see the pole sitter trying to make it another one and just improve for the sake of it. DRS is open across the line for the Haas driver, and Simaxon, regardless of the time, will set pole position. They didn't actually improve in the end there, but they did manage to secure it elsewhere. 3 tenths ahead. Brilliant stuff there from Simaxon. More or less 3 tenths, I should say. Now there's Simaxon taking pole position, 2.5 tenths more like it, ahead of Nifoyan. It's Jericho Willis in P3. That's the rest of the grid. This is the race director, just in case, and then we will be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Don't miss it. Ready, hold, go! Who's going to get it into turn one? Simaxon on the outside line, but it's not a good start from Nifo. It's a brilliant start from Zingy, who goes side by side with Jericho Willis, pushes them all the way to the outside line, and that is how you do it. Brilliant stuff right there. Nifo stays P3 as they get ahead of Jericho, who's now got pressure from the Sauber, who's looking to go around the outside the long way round the open steering wheel, gains the traction and has the advantage. Brilliant stuff. They've got Devon Young just behind them, followed by Terrence, Flex and Ickman. Williams having a look on the inside, but that's never going to work right there in that corner. Simaxon 7 tenths ahead as they open up this race with a perfect start and no troubles into the first corner. They did see the storming Mercedes behind them that almost had a look at taking them out, I'll be honest, but they did manage to avoid it quite nicely. So no problem at all. And you bit of a yellow, but hopefully that's nothing too much to worry about right now. The Scotsmen trying to hold on to DRS as they have Nifayan, their former teammate, behind them for company as they pursuit the fast car in front of them. No overtakes into the first one. It will be for now. Everybody. Alright, I do apologise for the issues with the microphone. I'm going to try and fix that one out, so we'll be back in a minute. Devon Young retiring into the pit lane. I don't know what happened there. Some sort of issue. But there's also anything in tiring, but out on track. Stuff. I'm not entirely sure what this audio issue is, but I'm going to try and figure it out. So, I do apologise. Thank you for waiting. Nifayan following behind as Zingy managed to hold on to DRS here. They will bring the train with them. That's Jericho Willis. That's Dalton as well. He's done a brilliant job here. So you have to make sure that they're keeping themselves on their toes though, as we see Zingy go for the move on the outside of Sir Max, and Sir Maxim's turned into the corner to try and allow Zingy to go around the outside. There's no contact. They've actually hit the wall on the inside there. That's interesting. Haven't seen that one in a while. They managed to keep it together though. Right, I will try and continue whilst this battle goes ahead, but then we'll try and fix the audio issues in a few moments time after. But it's currently Zingy leading the way, and it is Sir Maxon who still sits behind. Jericho Willis following behind with Nifo. Nifo's P3 in the train, so they get that DRS cancellation, so they're having to work really hard with what's going on ahead as these guys push each other to the limit and push on the pace. And of course, doesn't make it easy, but a brilliant move there from Sir Maxon, not allowing Zingy to get a switch back. You can look at the tyres, both medium tyres, Zingy and Sir Maxon, the hard. Nifo and Jericho Willis, the mediums for Selkin and Parent, and also the hard. It goes on to the medium. An early pit stop for them. I'm not entirely sure of the pit window here, but and currently it would suggest, or I would suggest, that it could be a two-stop here, it being a pretty high wear circuit. And if not high wear, high grip. And high grip means that new tyres gain a lot. That's what we're looking for. that's the move from Zingy. Oh, it's contact on the exit. So Maxon just misjudges that a little bit. That's allowing Nifo to catch up a little bit more. I just double check we're all in the lobby and we're good to go. And I'm just going to quickly go and try and sort a few things. We'll be back as soon as we can. Hello everyone, hopefully we're back. Not really much I can do with what we've got now, but this is the best I can do. We've just had a hell of a battle with Zingy and Samaxon, and it continues on your screen now. The outside line is the one of choice, but it's Zingy who dives once again to the inside line, and you know exactly what he's doing. He knows that he needs to try and stay ahead in this race if he wants to make sure that he has the advantage later on. Controller versus wheel, tire wear versus smoothness. It's gonna be a necessity from Zingy, and the six-time champion knows what he's doing exactly. It's also gonna make it very frustrating for Samaxon. Samaxon's gonna get a little bit hot-headed. They've got to try and stay cool, and then they'll be good to go. But if they don't, they'll make a mistake and they'll lose it all. We've got Tarkin, who was very close to the back of Jericho Willis there, and trying to have a look at maybe making a move at some point, but they're just not quite close enough. In the train, as I said, Nifo working really hard. Jericho Willis and Selkin also have a very similar situation where the DRS is just completely cancelled out, and they are at the mercy of the Zingy and Samaxon show. I wonder what kind of comedy they do. DRS available. Down the straight they go. And to the right-hand side, it will be a move! And I do not believe it! Zingy's into the wall! The VSC is deployed! And a simple movement across the circuit, contact, and a massive hit. That is absolutely extraordinary, and I don't know how the Mercedes has not DNF'd from the race. That was some interesting physics. A battle that went on and on and on, and now it's come to a climax. And it's incredibly confusing what just happened there. Absolutely mind-boggling. Still only a VSC. I think he's not too far away as they've got themselves back on track pretty quickly. But we will have to make a pit stop, and if it's only a VSC, then making that pit stop isn't really going to do much. I'm very surprised at how he's able to catch up so quickly, or so close to the pack, which is interesting because they spun and they were kind of stationary on track for a bit, so they are going to have to back up surely. No, we've got lots of cars backing up. We've got Zingy overtaking on the safety car. Vega Flex getting a drive through as they restart. So That was maybe Salkin trying to understand what's going on, and then the green flag must have come through. Zingi's gone straight to the overtake. That is really, really frustrating now for Salkin, because now they've lost all of the work that they were doing to try and stay with the cars ahead. Jericho Willis has also had a pretty difficult one there on the restart. It's Nifayan who is now the one to attack Samaxon. They have the better tyres at this stage, and they have the DRS, not the track position. So the whole grid completely split up now. 2 cars into the pit lane. A turn that we've just had here in LSI. I have to say again, I really did not expect that to happen, if anything. Now, 9-lap old medium tyres. Those tyres are going to be pretty difficult to drive with, very slippy. If they should have a decent advantage, Jericho Willis catches back up. Salkin's going to only have a tougher job to really do much about it. And realistically, that was the worst possible time for a VSC to come out for Salkin. They wanted it to come out a lap later maybe and go into the pit lane, but it didn't. And it means, of course, they not only lose the DRS train, but now they don't have the DRS train whilst their tyres are pretty much cooking themselves alive. DRS available for Nifo to catch up nicely. Jericho Willis follows along, of course, as well. And it's now 10-lap old medium tyres versus 10-lap old hard tyres. Zingi's choice, medium for them. And they were pretty close earlier on, of course. They will have lost maybe a little bit of time, as Salkin did. So they're going to have to gain a lot. But as I said, multiple stops here in Zandvoort have worked in the past. And depending on what these guys are going to do around, then multiple stops will still work. So, I don't know, Zingi would really not be looking to do a single stop here on that strategy that he's on now. But he'll be on a 2-stop. It just depends. If some other cars try and do 1 stop, he might be able to catch up. If they try and do 2 stops, depending on how much he gains, he might be able to bring it back. It's going to be a difficult ask, but definitely not impossible. 6 tenths, and that's going to be, once again, Nifayan catching up to the back of Samaxon. Not going to be in a position to overtake. Although a defensive throw is given from the racing ball, pass car, they still stay behind. And that's good for Nifo because it only slows down Samaxon by defending. It does, of course, cover them off. And that's what's happened there. Zingi fought aggressively. They wanted to try and stay ahead to make sure that they didn't allow any cars to run away and they could control the pace. That was their strategy. And now Samaxon, worried that anybody is going to go and dive on their inside line, has to defend every turn 1 to make sure that that doesn't happen and they can stay ahead for the rest of the lap. DRS available down the back straight, only gaining a little bit of pace from the stuff that you lose through dirty air, which is ever so important in the F125 game. On the traction, getting ready. Now about a tenth closer than they were this time last lap. Would they try and go for an overtake? That's the question. I think if they wanted to, they could. And I think if they will now. So there's the move. That is brilliant there for Nifo, who doesn't go fully to the racing line as they realise how late they fully cleared the car. So they do now stay ahead. They are ahead. But it is Jericho Willis who's the... They were able to catch up a little bit to Samaxon without that DRS was Jericho Willis, but not as much as Nifo. Of course, they probably didn't use the battery either, so they might have benefited from that a little bit. I think what really happened there was Nifo realised that Samaxon had turned the battery off. I think there was a red flash, unless I'm completely seeing things, a red flash as DRS, not even DRS was detected, they left the banking, and that targeted or triggered Nifo to realise, you know what, they've turned off the battery. If I turn mine on, I'm going to have a massive load of momentum. So Nifo took the chance, is now in the lead and is gaining a lot as expected on this tyre. Samaxon, it might be time to come into the pit lane. 8 tenths away. They are at risk at losing DRS on the next lap, but they're going to try again. They're going to try and stay on here. They're going to try and make sure that they don't lose out too much, and then reduce the time loss that they would have by staying out on this medium tire. Reducing time loss is one of the best things that you can possibly do when it comes to racing. Just got to make sure that you do it right. Currently, Nifo confident ahead. Jericho Willis, the next car on the equal tyre, is not in a position to attack. 8/10 again. DRS for a moment, bringing it back down to 7 potentially for Samaxon. To the braking zone, not quite reaching 6/10. And then Nifo, actually a little bit of a difficult final part of the lap, actually brings Samaxon quite close. Of course, before they get to the final corner, they pull it back up to 6/10 of a second. Looking like they were going into the pit lane was Nifo. Nifo's pulled to the inside line to go to the outside now. I don't know if it was defensive or not, but they've hit the grass as well. And no positions will be gained by Nifo. Oh, sorry, by Samaxon from that, as they just don't have the grip despite the grass on the tyres of the car ahead. That is Duncan into the pit lane, taking a 3-second time penalty onto that hard tyre, going for the undercut on the cars that they were battling earlier on, seeing the cars escape a little bit as they fought in DRS. And when you don't have DRS at a heavy downforce circuit, that DRS becomes very, very valuable. They reflects in P7. Dingy makes 5 seconds, absolutely incredible gains. 14 seconds behind currents at the moment. But look at the gap that they've got to the rest of the pack right now, 23 seconds. Now, it is a little bit of a slow pit lane because you go on the inside line, but you kind of gain a little bit as well. So it's a bit of a complicated pit lane. And Dingy's definitely going to be quite happy with their pace. I'm not sure they're going to be happy with their situation. There's some action into the pit lane. And it unleashes Jericho Willis to follow on closely with Nifayan. They look for their very different strategy. And considering the medium tyre has gone for this long, I would suggest that they're hoping to try and do a one-stop strategy. And if that's the case for Maxon, and that's the case for the rest of the field. Except from some others around them. Fresh medium tyres for Zingy, 2.7 seconds, nice and warm as well. They should be gaining in the opening laps, at least the next 2 laps. Trying to get their tyres warmed up on the hards. The fight who drops behind Jericho Willis as these guys look to fight. Terrence drops behind as they go into the pit lane. Fresh tyres relative to Salkin, who is just ahead as they see them leave the pit lane. Tyre advantage or 2, but position to Salkin right now. Does allow them to control the pace despite having that penalty for at the moment, 3 seconds away. So Maxon, then we've got Nifayan and Jericho Willis leading the way on their tyres, looking to extend a little bit further as they know they need to make sure they make the most of this strategy. Clearly making the move, gaining and going back to the racing line way before the corner arrives to make sure that they gain the most lap time possible. If you don't move to the racing line, you don't gain. If the other car around you decides to push you to the inside and make sure you can't get to the racing line, then you both lose out. So you've got to help each other in this scenario, especially when you're on the same strategy and it's the mid part of the race when other cars around you have made pit stops or different calls. That's when you work together with somebody that's not your teammate. If you don't do that, you're going to lose out. You may as well just let things go. But these guys are working together. They're pushing, and they're doing it well. But when it comes to the later stages, that's when you do try and figure out, you know what, I'm not going to work together with you so much. He used to say it was around about the last 2 or 3 laps that you look to fight each other. Maybe about 4 laps, really. Very close to the wall on exit there for Niffo and Jericho Willis. I think Jericho Willis actually hit the wall on the exit of the bank corner there. It isn't ideal. That 19 out of 36. These guys continue. And it's Samaxon who will be looking at having around 20 laps on their tyres, I believe, if I'm counting that correctly. 21 laps. So these guys have got a fair few to go until they call it into the pit lane realistically. And trying to make the use of each other's batteries as well as they gain on DRS and use ERS. And here we go. Niffo lines himself up nicely, 4 tenths behind. Decent exit, DRS. Bit of ERS to use as well. And down the straight, they'll gain massively. They actually don't gain as much as I thought they were. Turning off the back to Jericho Willis, knowing what's happening. Very smart, very well spotted. Making sure that they know that Niffo will get a massive run and is going to gain. So if I turn off my battery and move out the way, we will just gain together. And you may be wondering, why am I saying that they're gaining when they're not actually gaining, when the car behind is catching massively? Well, the car behind has pressure tyres. They've made a pit stop already, so they're expected to catch the guard. It's just whether they catch as much as they could, and that's why these guys are working together to try and hold on. I think he made that pit stop recently, and it's going to be Niffo who goes along into the pit lane, just stopping early enough. Very bumpy pit entry, and I'm very surprised that we haven't seen any speeding penalties from any drivers today. Medium tyre is called, and of course we saw Zingy go for that hard tyre a little bit earlier than I thought we would see them do it, I'll be honest. And to be honest, I thought we would have maybe seen them go onto the hard tyre for the middle stint and then look at the medium for the later on stint. They now drop behind Terence. But they will be very quick to the end. 5 lap hold difference compared to the Maxon. They will slowly get the advantage over the other cars around them. 5 laps. It's a lot. It's not as much as I thought it would be. It's a massive way to steer if these cold tyres are difficult to work with. And they're like 3.5 seconds behind, and they will be catching quite nicely up to the championship leader, Falcon, who's got Terence, who's hot on their heels, but not quite in DRS. So a gut-wrenching battle so far for the driver from Hong Kong. As the Norwegian pushes with everything they can. Terence has had a brilliant few corners there. Catch up. He may have just got DRS maybe. That could explain some performance gain. And these guys who are pushing each other to the limit will be able to gain on Zingy. Of course, Zingy does have a lot of pace in that car. 8 seconds is a big gap though. Jericho Willis onto the soft tyre. Jericho Willis was leading the Grand Prix. They pit. They lose the lead of the Grand Prix. And they're on the soft tyre. You look at the gap that they've ended up losing by going so much later into the race, into the pit lane. But I have a feeling that that's intentional, because why would they go so much later into the race, into the pits, and still go onto the medium tyre? Also, Maxon, despite being on the disadvantaged tyre, still has a massive pace advantage at this stage. 3.1 seconds. Still holding on nicely, despite the faster medium tyre from this boat. Slowly but surely they are gaining the fastest lap there, so as to it, Jericho Willis is going to look to try and take away that fastest lap as they go purple in the final sector. And they try to gain on this soft compound, which will die at some point. Terence made that move on Selkin just a few moments ago, and very close to the back of the Aston Martin, but not quite in a position to overtake. Of course, time penalties go towards Selkin. No time penalty, Terence, and all Terence needs to do is make sure that they stay away from the track limits. And generally, when it comes to racing circuits, Zandvoort is the easiest one to stay away from track limits, because if you go over track limits, then you will probably lose time rather than gain it, and you'll go all the way over the curb. So it's generally quite difficult to do. Not impossible. A few parts of the circuit you can get the job done and end up losing yourself a little bit. There are a few places I can think myself. But that Sauber is doing their best. And if they goes faster again, gains 6/10 in that lap. So I changed my mind. If it's absolutely mega right now with that car. DRS available though for the Sauber, and we're going to have a look into the braking zone of turn 1. To the outside line it will be for the green car. On the other green car is on the exit though. The Norwegian will have it, and there's going to be no contest. Don't has to give in. Brilliant stuff there. A clean move around the outside, long like a roller coaster as you go over the bank section. Quite fun to get done. So that's just fun stuff. But realising that they have that 3-second time penalty to their name. That is actually a 13-second time penalty. I didn't realise, because they've sped into the pit lane. So that is going to add a little bit more. So after all, as I said, I thought somebody would have sped in the pit lane by now. I just missed it. They did speed. Jericho Willis not speeding in the pit lane, but 3 seconds back at the moment. Niffo continues to catch right now. But Jericho Willis, who doesn't really have an answer to that medium tyre though, as they don't necessarily lose time, but they're not really gaining any at this stage. 3-lap old soft tyres already seem to be gone. The qualifying pace was there for a moment, died already. Looking at the fastest lap of 11.8 versus an 11.5, absolutely insane difference considering the tyre situation. That's once again Falcon and Terence switching position. As these guys battle, Zingy's been catching slowly but surely, looking to try and get to that P4 spot. They don't have time penalties to their name either. They want to make sure they gain as much ground as they can. They lost it all earlier on, of course. Frustrating stuff for the Scotsmen. Very frustrating stuff. Maxed on 2.5 seconds. Now the gap changes in direction of advantage. The grip is slowly going towards the Haas driver. If I shouldn't give up, should never give up. 10 laps just under to go of this race remaining. Anything can happen. But Samatson's going to be very pleased with what they've done so far. And the championship leader looks to try to continue and extend everything. But Napoleon still there for the pole. And almost catching up to time penalty range, but not quite getting there. Seconds of the gap they have. So Matson losing out time to Nifo as Nifo catches up. But on speed in the Haas car is a massive advantage. We think behind, starting from Terence, no overtaking opportunities and almost dropping the Sauber they are. Light green versus dark green, the battle of the greens. Still having to sit behind for now. And it's Zingy who will go on board with. Catch up to the cars in front. The gap changes with DRS. Selkin once again in attacking range. At 1.1 seconds, Zingy will shortly be DRS. And then there'll be a few more answers to be questioned. Will they be able to hold on? Or will they not? That's intentional, by the way. I didn't just say that. Anyway, we continue. And once again, I do apologise with the microphone issues today we've had. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do right now, but I'll try and make sure it's fixed for tomorrow. But right now, we've got a battle. We've also got a yellow, as that is Vega Flex moving out the way. The DRS is available for Zingy. The first time DRS has been available for the Scotsman. ERS is available. Are they going to use it to try and give it a go? They do use it, but they aren't able to catch up as the train ahead cancels out the DRS effect, and it's just ERS. ERS is being used by Salkin as well. Oh, it's the inside lines, and he tries to go for it, forcing the Sauber slightly wide and then looking to get a better exit. Do they get the traction down enough? No, they do not. A little bit too aggressive on the throttle. Once again, though, using the battery, looking to the outside line. That will be their call. Oh, it's completely over the limit there for Salkin. They tried to move to the outside, misjudged it, and went a bit too far. And that's going to be patience gone from the Mercedes car, and maybe a turn one dive is going to be their answer next. DRS available, will they get a good run? That's the question. Not quite so much. And Terence is just there, of course, so if Salkin does try to go for the move on Terence, then you've got to bet that Zingy's going to try and give it a go as well. Here we go though, DRS available. Not the best mid-corner, and that makes him struggle on the exit there. For Zingy, DRS available. Will Salkin go for the move? It's Terence who goes defensive. The inside line is chosen. The inside line is chosen for Salkin. And here comes the switchback for Zingy. It's going to be blocked off by Terence, and they have to let that one go. Salkin going completely into the corner. And it was Terence who just had to let that one happen. A little bit of contact involved as well. And the Scotsman can't find a way through around effectively the street circuit that isn't a street circuit. So Maxon leads the way by 2.7 seconds, and that gap is definitely switching now if it wasn't earlier on, as they gain more lap time in these closing stages. Jericho Willis, P3, holding on to that podium quite nicely right now. Time penalties, both drivers. Selkin with that 13 seconds time penalty to their name. Terence up ahead of the Scotsman. And it's that position that they want, so they can have a better chance at going for the move on the Sauber. Terence looked to go for the move, but then they backed off, and that's going to be frustrating for Zingy. They want to see the cars battle ahead. They don't want to see them push each other and then not go for overtakes. Does that mean means that they don't slow each other down so much in the short term, and they don't allow Zingy to go for any overtake opportunities? Now, yeah, this is going to be used. Zingy's going to go for the inside line, but it's defended very well from Terence. It was tricky, but spotted it coming, and he doesn't need to let that one go. Looking to try and see if they can spook the Aston Martin off their line into turns 9 and 10. That's not going to happen. Close to the inside curve there for Zingy. Now down to 11. No overtake will be possible, but once again just trying to force the Aston Martin into an offline by distracting them in the mirrors. Now this is going to be different as long as Zingy can get a good mid-corner here and not lose so much. They do get a better one compared to what we saw earlier on. They might have a chance of going for an overtake. They're going to use the back three with everything they can. Terence is doing the same. The outside line is chosen, and it's Zingy's going to try and break as late as possible. Will the switchback be available? It might just be this time around. The inside line, they're further up to the inside. There's going to be contact, but the Scotsman is still there. Absolutely awesome stuff. The outside line is going to be the one of choice. The traction's going to be chosen, and now they're going to try and tuck in the slipstream, but it's not given by Terence, so they're pushing with everything they can. They get ahead, and now Terence is up next for dinner. What can they do? Terence is now going to have a really tough job. DRS is right there, and no cancellation this time for Zingy. It's just going to be a pass down the straight. That was hard fought. Very hard fought indeed. But now, the driver from Hong Kong is counting the corners that they will be in P4 as they lose out to their fellow non-time penalty runner here in Zandvoort. The outside line is chosen, and Terence just has to watch it go as the 6-time champion passes. Selkin into the pit lane, which he gave us one hell of a race, that's for sure. And on to fresh other tyres. Serving that time penalty as well, P6 for them. Vegaflex, next car behind, giving it a good shot, really trying to put in the laps here and gain that experience, which is great to see. And we see Sametson, 17 laps old hard tyres. They've gone a long way here. They've done the one stop. They've done the standard strategy. And it's not failed them. They had some controversy earlier on. They're trying to push the limit to try and make sure that they minimize any issues that may come their way if anything does come their way. And it's Niflian who's trying to do exactly the same thing by gaining as much as they possibly can before the final laps come upon them. Jericho Willis, P3 for them, another podium on the board would be brilliant. Zingy, who's made a brilliant recovery, breaks away from Terence now, who doesn't get the DRS, or they did just get the DRS. But 9/10 is going to be very difficult to catch back up with a car that has a tire advantage. Even though it's slight, it's still going to be there, and they have track position. We've seen how track position can be difficult to deal with in a few scenarios from the beginning of this race and all the way up till now. Zingy 4 seconds, or P4 right now, 22 seconds behind. That soft tyre was chosen by Jericho Willis. It maybe wasn't the best call. They're still hoping to get to the end of the Grand Prix. It's not too late to go into the pit lane and still be ahead. But I think they're still going to try and hold out. They're going to try and take it to the end of the Grand Prix. They haven't lost as much as I thought they may have lost, to be honest. But it's Nifayan who's trying their best to stay within a 5-second time penalty range of the pole just in front of them. 4.2 seconds, but losing it on the exit. They're going to lose 2 tenths now. All the way down the S section, effectively a straight. You lose all that momentum. You're going to have to dig deep to try and find a little bit more. So Maxon trying to take it to the end of the Grand Prix here. About to start the final lap of the race. So Maxon, a crazy fight to begin with. A little bit of an incident throughout, then a continuous fight until the pit stops. Oh, and a big mistake on the exit as they begin the final lap, almost ending their race. That was absolutely huge. And they lose anything that they gained over the last kind of half a lap. Oh, Nifayan, to a sigh of relief, but still another lap to go. Nifa's been trying to do the exact opposite of Samaxon. Or I'd say not the exact opposite, but still trying to gain. They're trying to make sure they hold on. Jericho Willis has been in a similar situation to Nifo. Zingy having an issue early on in the race, effectively the middle portion of the race, has made a brilliant recovery for P4. Not what they want, but they've really given it a good effort. It's Terence in P5, who's done very well to get used to the new components that they have. They're performing nicely. Falcon in P6, and it's Vega in P7 at the moment. Debut and second race in LSI for those respectively. It's the Maxon who's pushed with everything they could. Those tyres are done. 20 lap old hards. Absolutely ended. But it doesn't matter. It's all over now. DRS available. Not available, sorry. Maxon has won the Dutch Grand Prix. And it's going to be Nivayan who will be P2 for their home race in the end. That's a brilliant effort regardless of what happens. Jericho Willis to P3, taking another podium here in the summer season. And Ziggy, well, they've got a couple more corners to go, and they will be able to take P4 points, 12 points home to their championship. DRS is available for them as they just go behind. Vega Flex ahead, and it's Terence for P5 scoring 10 points with their new wheel. Brilliant stuff there. Salkin on debut, trying to go for the fastest lap in the end. They did get the job done. A 10.780. No point for that, but pride definitely. P6 for them. And Vega Flex continuing to get to the end of the Grand Prix to score some good points. Lovely stuff. That is that. The Dutch Grand Prix for the Friday tier is done. The next race tomorrow. Before then, we'll get post-race interviews in a few moments. Before that, we'll see the results on the screen. And there is some action. Lovely stuff to see everything there, the accolades. Samaxon takes victory in the Netherlands. It's Nifayan for the home Grand Prix P2. Jericho Willis, Zingy, Terence, Zelkin, Vegaflex, and then DNFing earlier on was Devon Young and Inkling in the end. That is the session results and the race director on your screen just in case. And then that is of course showing how it's quite difficult to get track limits around the Dutch Grand Prix. Not many track limits that we've seen today so far. That's the rest of the grid. Once again, we'll see in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone, welcome to the post-race interviews of the Dutch Grand Prix. That was a hell of a race at the beginning, lots of battling, and at the end it was brilliant to see Zingy go for the comeback of dreams. And it's going to be Nifo first. Nifo, that was a bit of a DRS train for a while, but the strategy later on, the tyres, the pit stops, it just didn't quite work out. Do you think you did well today? Are you happy with what you did?
I think it did better than expected. I mean, for loads of people, I mean, I basically had like 4 weeks of no driving, which is partly my fault, partly just vacation. So I had like so I had two hours before the race to do everything basically, which for a lot of drivers is a lot of time. For me, it isn't, because I don't have much talent in adaptability and such. So setup and fuel management and strategy and whatever, all in that 2 hours. Yeah, I didn't practice my start, so that immediately went amazing. My quali went okay. I qualified higher than I thought, but then I immediately threw it away at the start, because I mean, it was my second start in the month, so I kind of forgot what to do. Dropped back, but then gained back a place with Jericho, and then I was just P3 for the whole stint. And then Max and then Zingy had an interesting moment, which I don't know who's at fault. But hopefully Smash gets a penalty, because then obviously I'll be P1 in the end. But I don't know. I can't really comment on what happened, because I didn't even see it, because I was looking in my mirror and then it happened. So yeah, I just tried to stay with, try to pull away in the DRS chain, didn't work. Then Smax on pits and then pitted later. But yeah, I think my race rust kind of, I couldn't really push enough. I was like 2 seconds, and then I just stopped gaining. And then by the time I found my groove again, my tires chopped off, and then you start dropping. So at that stage, I was like, oh, let's just get in 5 seconds and hope he gets a penalty post race. So that's what I did. And yeah, I mean, going into it, I felt like, oh, I'm gonna be like midfield. So fighting for the win in itself was good. So I'm happy what I did with the time I had.
Yeah, that's good to hear, and I'm sure we're going to see, or I'm not sure, maybe we'll see some sort of report from somebody saying that it was dangerous in front of them to crash like that in this effect.
Okay.
Yeah, no, really good effort, and well done for that, and obviously we can see that you're trying to stay within the 5 seconds, so good effort. Next Grand Prix, whether you're there or not, the Australian Grand Prix, a circuit that some people love, some people hate. As only one person I actually know that actually likes that circuit. Do you like it? Are you going to be number 2 or not?
I hate it with a passion, and it really does not feed into my strengths or my preferences as a driver. But it's a lot of DRS, so maybe with some chaos something can happen. But but we'll see. But overall, I'm not too excited about Australia.
We do like DRS. Thank you very much, Niff, for a really good effort today. Well done. On the P2 at your home race.
Thank you.
And we go with Jericho. Jericho, that's another podium in the summer season. Are you happy with that one? Tyre strategy, I have to say, was one of the most interesting strategies that I've seen.
Yeah, well, my tire strategy didn't go as planned. I set up for the mediums at the start, and just somebody kind of rushed the start of the race.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I set up the strategy, but then I didn't flip it to that strategy. Something that happens from time to time. So I started on the wrong tire, which made it difficult at the start. Actually got a pretty good start, but not as good as Zingy's, and he pushed me wide in the first corner, and that kind of compromised me quite a bit. Lost a position to Nifo, and then kind of was right next to a medium runner who had better pace right there, so they got me as well. So that kind of compromised me from really battling for the top positions, which was a shame. I think if I would have started on the medium, I probably would have been battling up front for that first stint, and then went on to the hards with the other guys. So it might have been different. From there, I just kind of, I didn't really like the strategy I was on, but my tire wear was really good. So I figured, you know what, I'll just try going on to a new set of softs, because I had a new set of softs, and see what they're like. Because with the AI, the AI is really fast on a second set on softs, and I hadn't really tried it, so I was like, "What the heck? I'll try it," and it really didn't seem any faster. so so even though the tire was newer and the tire was softer, it was actually no faster than the medium or hards. And obviously, I don't expect in race pace that I'll necessarily be as fast as some Maxon and Nifo, but given qualifying in the first stint, I think it was a reasonable expectation that I might actually be able to close in at least for a few laps, but that didn't work. So in the end, I don't think that 3-second penalty counted. I think there was a glitch on pit entry. I'll have to take a look at it, but it went straight for a 3-second penalty. And obviously, if you speed in the pit lane, it's a 10. I'll have to look at it to see how on earth I would have cut to warrant a straightaway 3-second penalty, but I think that's bogus. But that was a little distracting. But other than that, it was just kind of keep it clean, see what I could do for pace and bring home a podium. So I got to be happy with that. You can always do better, so you're always looking at that. But it was a fun race, at least the first stint, and qualifying was fun too. I was able to get a personal best in qualifying, so that was rewarding as well. But yeah, so overall happy with it.
Yeah, a few things I have to say. Just really impressive qualifying. We'll try and make sure we sort out that ready up situation for next time, so it doesn't happen again. But yeah, really good effort. Really well said. One more question for you before we ask about the next race. If you did start on the correct tyre, where do you think you'd have ended up?
Well, I would have liked to think that I would have been in the battle at the end. I really feel like my tire wear is good, so I think like at the end of a stint, I always have a chance. I know I'm not as fast as those top two guys. I've been racing with them for the last year, so I know how quick they are. So I don't think I'm quite as quick as them, but I think there's a chance that I might be able to get a tire offset at some point with just trying to nurse the tires a little bit and kind of, just being patient. So you never know. I think it would have been a good battle at the end if I got the strategy right, but I definitely didn't get the strategy right, so there was really no chance.
And into Australia, it was a difficult race last season, but new game, very different way of driving the game. Do you think that's going to be a good circuit for you?
I think it'll be fun. I'll be, taking a break for the next several days, so I won't have a lot of time to prepare. So I'll just kind of show up, try to get my pace there fairly quickly, kind of like Nifo did for this race, and then just have some fun with it. See who's around you and your pace, and pick those battles and enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really good effort today, and well done.
Thank you.
And we move on to Zalkin on debut. That was a hell of a race. Lots of battles. Lots of entertainment. Can you take us through it? Obviously, you were with the lead pack for a while, but that VSC, that got a little bit difficult, right?
Yeah, I had my quali setup on, so I had a hard time with tire management, so I ended up quickly losing grip, and that caused me to fell off a bit after the VSC. So I really had to pick the pace up, but when I got into the pit, I got a 10-second penalty for speeding, so that was a bit huge mistake by me, but yeah, you learn by doing wrong, I guess. So yeah, it was fun though. Debut, very happy with the P6, not last, so very happy, very happy.
Yeah, it was good, and you definitely see the pace that was there. Australia, if you don't have a VSC that goes a little bit dodgy, do you think you can do well there?
Yeah, next time I will be sure to put up a good setup, so race setup this time, and I'm in for a good race at Australia. It's one of my better tracks, so hope the pace will be good there.
Awesome. I can't wait. Thank you very much. Really good effort today. Great to see you racing. And yeah, I'm sure we'll see some good results soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And we move on to Samaxon. Samaxon, another victory, another extension of the championship lead. A pretty good race for you in the end. It was a hell of a battle to begin with. Can you just take us through your entire race?
I mean, yeah, firstly qualifying, managed to do my PB on my second run. Then the third run, I just overpushed the car, had like a big spin, and still I think finished only 18 thousandths behind my second run. So that was it.
Yeah.
And starting the race on the mediums from P1, I wasn't really expecting much. Heischler is not driving today, wanted to have some fight with Zingy, and just try to find out and try to improve my paddling with, I would say, an aggressive driver. So I tried it, and I turned out to be the aggressive one. So, from my point of view, it didn't really look that bad. But then from the outside, it was just a bad thing. So yeah, I'm sorry again for that. And then just I had the pace. Like the thing that I changed in the setup before the race really helped me with rear grip. Like the rear grip was just amazing. The car felt like on rails. Didn't feel that for the last one year basically. So it finally felt like the car finally felt like I would want it to be, and the pace was good. Managed to hold off Differ, and then I tried to make a 5-second gap on like I think the last 2 laps. I said that it is possible, so I tried it. Almost basically ended my lap in the last corner.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw that. You saw that? Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Then just last lap wasn't really the best one also, so that was it.
Yeah, well, it was very, very driven in the end as well. It was so close to ending your race, though, I will say, over that curve. Absolutely brutal. Australia, you did effectively what was a last to first last time around. I assume you're not going to try and do that again, but if you are racing in Australia, is that a good circuit for you?
I think it depends more on the amount and type of drivers we'll have, as if what I will be doing in terms of aggressiveness for that race, and we'll see also how the preparations go. I will have I think this Monday will be an Australian race, so we'll have a setup. Then won't really need to do much of practice to just go back to the driving on the track mode. So we'll probably be there, and we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Really good effort today. Well done. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
We move on to Terence. Terence, new wheel. How was it? Did you enjoy that one? Can you find what went well, what went not so well? Also, trying to beat Zingy on some fresher tyres. You gave it a good shot, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think for 4 or 5 laps within Belkins and Zingy is currently my best show from my new wheel. Of course, it's still the wheelbase is quite hot right now, so I can barely touch it for a long time. The first race in LSI and my new wheel is quite incredible. To be honest, because I didn't practice for Netherlands, I just grabbed the setup before the race, I think 10 minutes ago. So less preparation, but still kind of a good pace to come out, especially for good stability. I won't say for a good pace, but the stability, the consistency for many laps on those war medium tires at the first stint, and also the hot stint on the last 10 laps is quite frustrating to turn the car. I got the understeer everywhere, but every time I try to pick up the photo earlier to ease off my corner entry time loss, I nearly spun every corner, but I still trying to maximize my time because I know some force behind me is coming.
Yeah, yeah.
every lap around 0.5 to 0.6 per lap on after he pitted for his new fresh hot tire.
Yeah.
But I still can't have a very good pace to cleanly pass Belkin and let him get out of my DRS range. So that is quite that is unwilling, I would say.
Yeah.
But if I can be faster, the race would be much more easier. Of course, in those 5 laps, I try to do a colors signs back in 2023 Singapore, but here is not Singapore. It's harder to defend, especially for that very, very long DRS straight. So I try to use second to defend Zingy.
Yeah.
I think in lap 29 it's very successful that
Yeah.
he placed his car in the inside of the big corner,
Yeah.
and he successfully blocked Zingy and on that lap. And I tried to give him DRS consistently, but maybe he doesn't know the assignment to do, so he chose to overtake me. So that destroyed my plan.
Yeah.
And also my ERS management.
Yeah.
So that is quite disappointing. But yeah, I mean, I can battle with the 6-time champions.
Yeah.
Is it 6-time?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6-time champions in LSI for 5 laps is my honor.
Yeah.
It's my honor, really.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sebastian.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a hell of a race, and considering the circumstances, you've done a really, really good job, and I can't wait to see how it continues with the progress. So really well done, and thank you for the entertainment on track. Australia, you try and beat Carlos Sainz again. Well, he won that race in the past.
Last season.
Yeah, do you think you can do that?
No, I never test my will in Australia, so it looks good. But you mean if you talk about the pro cons? I think the pro is maybe I would get more consistent, maybe a little bit faster as well. But the con is I would be fucking exhausted after I drive a 50% race. I mean, I just managed to put my hands up now.
Yeah.
But just after the race, I can't. It's a little bit painy within the muscle also. So, yeah, I think let's see. I mean, I can't expect any good result because I just changed my new will, and I get rid of. I need to get rid of that 15 or 16 years muscle memories. So it's hard. It takes times, but I believe I would be better.
Yeah, you'll definitely get used to it. I'll promise you that. As long as you're racing, you'll definitely get used to it, and it will feel a lot better, and you'll understand it more. So don't worry, it will get there. Really good effort today. Thank you very much, Terence. I hope you enjoyed it with the new equipment, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you.
And we move on to Vega Flex Vega. That was another race, finishing it, completing it, scoring points. Are you happy with that one?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I lost like 3 times, I think, my ring, but I'm happy that I didn't lose my tire, so it's good enough, I think.
Yeah, more points to the championship, that's for sure. Did you learn a lot throughout this event?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I also, my tire management have to be a lot better because at the end of the race I was lucky. I have 85% of 90, I think.
Wow.
On my left front wing, so on my left my front. So yeah, it's not bad.
No, that's alright. That's alright. We understand. Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, but I'm happy with the results. I have the points again, and I finished my race, so that's my goal.
Yeah, brilliant. Really well done. That's brilliant. And Australia, it's a very different circuit. It's got some high speed corners, that's for sure. Do you think you can do well there?
I think it will be better than the Netherlands. When I'm driving on Formula One, I see like Netherlands is my bad track,
Uh-huh.
and Australian is a little bit better. So we will see. I think it will be better.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I can't wait to see you there, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Like that.
And we move on to Zingy. Zingy, really frustrating, but a brilliant recovery in the end, scoring some good points. It's not what you wanted, I know, but can you take us through it?
Yeah, qualifying was disappointing. As per usual in this game, I just can't seem to get the car hooked up. On that pace, it's just ridiculously quick. And I just can't feel the edge of grip like I can do in the race. Speaking of, the race was good. The tyre wear was actually really well. I was saving tyres a whole first stint until, don't know, it must have been the wind or something like that. But after that, we had to make an extra stop because I don't think I was making it on hard tyres. They were like 56 at the end, so if I would have pit like, what, 7, 8 laps earlier, I don't think I would have made it. Plus the fact that I was able to gain on the two in front, Terrence and the new guy, Solkin, I think his name is.
Yeah.
So I got that bit of a tyre advantage, so I was able to push more, use more of my raw pace, which got me up to the back of Terrence and Solkin. The Sauber, yeah, he was very aggressive, to be fair to him, but it was good enough that it wasn't actually taking me out, and it was like just keeping me back for a few laps. I found it really refreshing to drive with someone who might be a bit newer, a bit inexperienced in that way. It was very fun. He put his heart on the track, I think, which was very fun to see. And eventually I got past, but I did have to play very smart because Terrence, as I said, was doing his best Carlos Sainz impression, which was something. So I had to kind of compromise everyone's lines and just try and look for moves in places I normally wouldn't. And I knew even if I would have made another mistake or spun, at that point I was still solidified some points, so I was able to take a bit more risks, and thankfully I got through to P4. But as Terrence said, he was on a new wheel, but his pace was exceptional, and that Sulkin guy was also very quick, so I'm happy I was able to get past him eventually.
Well said. Well, very well said. Yeah, it was a tough race, but you did a very good job. Australia, very different, whether you're there or not. Do you like that circuit? Do you like it more than the Netherlands?
Australia's just a DRS train, and it's like, at least with the Netherlands, like you can build gaps because the mids to high speed corners create dirty air. You may think the same of Australia, but because there's 4 DRS zones, you're just following each other the whole time, and unfortunately I feel as though it's going to come down to who can be second on the penultimate lap. So I'm not going to enjoy it probably, but I know a guy who is quite quick around there, so I'm sure I can ask for some tips. For some tips from him.
Well, it will be a great battle, I'm sure, so you can look forward to that. Thank you very much, Zingy. Really good effort today. I'm really sorry it didn't go the way you wanted it to, but well done for what you did do.
Thank you.
And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your patience with the microphone issues. We'll try and get that sorted for tomorrow. Talking about tomorrow, we'll see you there for the watch-alongs for the Formula 1 sessions. That's at, I believe, 11:30 a.m. BST time, so that's 12:30 local time, and then that'll be 4 p.m. local time as well. Thank you very much once again. We'll see you tomorrow for the Dutch Grand Prix, same place, same time. And we'll see you next weekend for the Australian Grand Prix. Have a good one, and bye-bye.